had pulmonary fibrosis, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which means that they have no idea what caused it, in 2007. It destroyed my lungs. I needed some form of medication or a transplant. A lung transplant is not a cure, it's a treatment. So I needed to go through the whole process of getting on the transplant list, which was quite a deal, a journey for myself. I had to go to Toronto 3 times a week and do physio, lots of doctor appointments and that sort of thing. And I did that from 2011 when I got on the transplant list to 2012. So I was on the list for 11 months. And in 2012, I got 2 calls. The first call was in February saying, we have a set of lungs for you. By this time, I'd been on oxygen for 2 years. I had to quit work. I couldn't really walk any more than a couple of 100 meters without the oxygen. My life was very, very different than it is today. So I went on the transplant list. I got the call in February. I got down to Toronto General. I had 2 hours to get there. If you lived any more than 2 hours away from Toronto, you had to move to Toronto, get an apartment, set your whole life up there. So I was very blessed not to have to do that. And so I got my call, got down, started the whole process. 5 minutes before my surgery, they were going to wheel me away, and they came back and said the lungs were not viable. I thought, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to deal with this? I looked at it as a different way of looking at things. I just decided at that moment, I'm going to have to look at it. This was a practice run. This was something that was going to give me a lesson. A couple of months later, in July, I got the other call, July the 21st at 7:45 in the morning, and my beeper went off and the phone rang. And it was the call. I had 2 hours to get to Toronto, and they started doing the whole process again, the drugs, the tests, everything else. And they came back about 12 hours later and said, your lungs are viable. I had a double lung transplant. It was a miracle. It's been a life-giving event for me. I was very, very lucky to have a second opportunity. Well, I'm here. I'm a walking story, I believe. It's a miracle when a transplant goes well. They're doing the technology that they have right now is phenomenal. What we don't have are the organs. 1,500 people in Ontario today are waiting for some form of organ or not. It's an opportunity for a second chance at life. And what we're saying to people now is it doesn't matter your health status or your age, just donate. The team of doctors will make that decision. You never know when maybe you have to have it. So. Very easily. It takes 2 minutes. You can go on beadonor.ca, or you can do it and you go on that line, and there's 5 questions. It takes less than 2 minutes, and then it'll go on to your health card. So you have to have a health card to be able to do it, and at the very back of the health card it says donor, or you can go to Service Canada Service, and they will look at it through your driver's license and register you that way. It's very important, and anybody can register from the age of 16 up. You don't need your parents' permission, but what we do suggest really strongly is that you talk to your family, because it's, as much as you may want to be a donor, family may have a different idea, and that's a whole lot of other complications. So talk to your family. At 16, be a donor. It's a gift that keeps on giving. You'll be somebody's hero. I'm a total advocate for it.